Alpha, you ready for this? Today we're talking about one of my all-time favorite shows from the 90s. It's Beavis and Butthead. In the early 90s, MTV wasn't just music videos and cool VJs. It was a cultural lab where weird experiments turned into phenomenon. Out of that chaos came two of the dumbest, loudest, most unforgettable characters in cartoon history. Of course, it's Beavis and Butthead. They were crude.
School's closed. It's a holiday, you dumbasses.
Ridiculous. Somehow they were genius. Today we're diving deep into the origins of the show, how Mike Judge stumbled into animation glory, the spin-offs like King of the Hill, the massive wave of Beavis and Butthead merch, and where the franchise might be headed in the future. So grab some nachos, crank up some 90s metal, and join me as we say, this is cool. Let's start from the very beginning. Beavis and Butthead first appeared in 1992 in an animated short called Frog Baseball.
I guarantee it. Tonight at 9.
Then I found Thigh Master. With Thigh Master, it's easy to squeeze your way to more shapely hips and thighs.
Yes, you heard that right. It was literally two teenage morons hitting a frog with a baseball bat. MTV aired it on Liquid Television, their late-night experimental animation showcase, and the audience reaction was instant. Half the viewers thought it was genius. The other half thought it was the end of civilization. That's when you typically know it's a hit. MTV execs, of course, smelled ratings gold. They gave Mike Judge, the creator of the short, a chance to expand the concept into a series.
Tell the class, Daria.
50,000 volts up the butt.
And in 1993, Beavis and Butthead premiered as a full half-hour show. Setup was simple. Two brainless teenagers sitting on a couch watching music videos, making dumb commentary while occasionally stumbling through misadventures in their small Texas town.
That long, huh? Oh, sure, I got Dick's number. I'd like to play a game of horseshoes with old Ned. You know, back in Baton, we could have fed 600 men in the time it's taken you ham and eggers just to take my order.
But behind the stupidity was something brilliant. The show became a mirror of American culture in the 90s. Consumerism, suburban boredom, the decline of MTV's music-first identity.
Hi, Sonia Saul here with MTV News.
It was satire disguised as two idiots laughing at Metallica videos. Something you might not know, the original animation was incredibly crude because Mike Judge literally animated the first shorts in his living room using a cheap animation kit. Beavis and Butthead weren't born in Hollywood, they were born literally in a garage. Now, who is Mike Judge? Mike Judge wasn't supposed to be an animator. He studied physics and worked as a programmer before dabbling in short films.
Wind up with Beavis and Butthead there?
So I was making these animated shorts in my house and just mailing out VHS tapes of them. And there was a show called Liquid Television. Well, I made 3 shorts before. Beavis and Butthead was the 4th one I'd made, and the first 3 had gotten, like the first one I made was on a show on comedy, it was called the Comedy Channel. Night After Night with Alan Havey.
I remember Alan Havey.
Yeah, and then I'd gotten in some animation festivals, and so people were starting, there was a show called Liquid Television on MTV that was on Sunday nights, and they would license animated shorts. So I got like 3 or 4 of mine on there. It all happened very quickly. They asked me to send my first 3, and I said I have a new one, and it was Beavis and Butthead, and I was elated. I was like, this is amazing. I'm just making these things in my house outside of Dallas, and it's going to be on MTV. That's amazing. And then I sold it. I sold the whole thing to him for something like $18,000.
The whole property, everything?
Yeah, I mean, I retained something that you'd never see any money from, but I was able to get it back later, years later.
How'd you do that?
Just because they needed me to do it.
Frog Baseball launched his career, and MTV's call completely changed his life. After the wild success of Beavis and Butthead, Judge spun off into other projects you might have heard of. In 1997, he co-created King of the Hill. Classic.
Wagner Char King. Couldn't get this baby in Saudi Arabia.
What can she do?
It comes with a touch screen, preset cooking profiles, and Wi-Fi for remote temperature monitoring.
Whoa.
Damn. Yep, they're all over there. I shouldn't have to call technical support to make a burger.
Which became a critical darling. Unlike Beavis and Butthead, King of the Hill was subtle, heartfelt, and deeply Texan. It ran for 13 seasons and earned Judge an Emmy. In 1999, Judge wrote and directed Office Space, which bombed in theaters but later became a cult classic on DVD, so much so that it's now one of the most quoted workplace comedies of all time. In 2006, he made Idiocracy, a dystopian satire about a future ruled by stupidity. At the time, it was ignored, and now it's practically become prophecy. In the 2010s, he created Silicon Valley for HBO, skewering the tech industry with the same sharp satire he used on teenagers in the 1990s. Mike Judge originally voiced both Beavis and Butthead himself, along with many of the side characters. He said switching between their voices actually gave him migraine headaches. Now, the show did not come, of course, without controversy. As many remember, Beavis and Butthead weren't universally loved. In the 1990s, parents and politicians lost their minds over the show. Critics claimed it encouraged kids to be lazy, violent, and stupid.
This looks like it might rock.
In 1993, there was even a tragic case where a young boy set a fire and the media falsely claimed Beavis and Butthead inspired him. This led MTV to push the show's time slot later at night and censor certain content. But controversy only fueled the show's popularity. By 1994, Beavis and Butthead was one of the MTV's highest rated programs, watched by millions of teens who loved how it mocked both authority figures and pop culture. And let's not forget the music videos. For bands, getting roasted by Beavis and Butthead was actually free publicity. Some artists hated it, but others like Nirvana and Metallica embraced the chaos.
I don't know, maybe it's alright, I guess it sounds kind of cool.
Mike Judge once admitted that the video watching segments were basically filler to stretch the runtime, but they became the most iconic part of the show. And then, of course, what followed is the merchandise explosion. Check out back here. Actually bought this at a Comic-Con going back a couple of years ago. If you were a teen in the 1990s, you probably owned some Beavis and Butthead merch. MTV knew they had a hit and licensed the characters everywhere. There were t-shirts, hats, pajamas, trading cards, action figures, lunchboxes, even Valentine's Day cards. At its peak, Beavis and Butthead merchandise made over $100 million a year. Comic books? Oh yeah, Marvel's Marvel Music imprint actually published Beavis and Butthead comics in the mid-90s, complete with the same crude humor. Today, those issues can sell for anywhere between $10 and $50, depending on condition. Video games? Absolutely. Beavis and Butthead in Virtual Stupidity 1995 became a cult favorite on PC and PlayStation. There was also SNES and Genesis games, though let's be real, they weren't all that good. In 1994, Burger King ran a Beavis and Butthead kids meal promotion, which sounds insane in hindsight given the show's content. Parents complained, but the toys became instant collector's items. Today, original 90s shirts can fetch $100 to $300 on eBay, and boxed action figures go for even more. For nostalgia-driven collectors, Beavis and Butthead merch is right up there with 90s swag like Daria or MTV Sports. In 1996, Beavis and Butthead made the jump to the big screen with Beavis and Butthead Do America. I remember watching this in the theater. Directed by Mike Judge, the film was a box office hit, making over $60 million worldwide. It featured cameos from Bruce Willis, Demi Moore, and Robert Stack, Unsolved Mysteries, and provided the characters could hold their own outside of TV. Spinoffs also flourished. Daria, originally a recurring character on Beavis and Butthead, got her own show in 1997 and became a cult favorite for smart, sarcastic teens.
Tell the class, Daria.
50,000 volts up the butt.
King of the Hill, of course, came from Judge's desire to do something more grounded and became one of the longest-running animated shows ever.
All the old boys are going to be here this year. Dick, Peter, Rod, Johnson. Well, I haven't heard a rumor that old John Thomas might show up this time.
Franchise even returned in 2011 with a reboot season on MTV, updating the boys' commentary to cover reality shows like Jersey Shore. And then again in 2022, Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe dropped on Paramount Plus along with brand new episodes. These two idiots have staying power. So what's next for Beavis and Butthead? Given Paramount's investment in streaming, it's safe to predict they'll keep the franchise alive with periodic specials and seasons. With nostalgia at peak levels, I can speak to this, expect more retro merch drops, vinyl reissues of the soundtrack, and maybe even a return of those ridiculous 90s t-shirts. There are even rumors of crossover projects. Imagine Beavis and Butthead appearing in other Mike Judge universes like King of the Hill. Stranger things have happened. Most importantly, the characters still resonate. In a world of social media overload and endless reality TV, Beavis and Butthead's dumb commentary feels timeless. They may be idiots, but there are idiots. They're ours. So from a crude short about frog baseball to becoming MTV icons, from controversy to cult classics, from t-shirts to comic books, and from the 90s all the way into streaming into the 2020s now, Beavis and Butthead have carved out a bizarre but undeniable place in pop culture history. What about you? Did you watch Beavis and Butthead back in the 90s? Do you still own any of the merch, or maybe you saw the movie in theaters? Drop your memories in the comments, and if you like this deep dive into 90s pop culture, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell for more nostalgia trips. I can remember like it was yesterday watching this show in Virginia in the mid-90s. Until next time, I am Cornholio. Thanks for watching.